Hello, Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. My name is Saima Asghar. I'm a social worker and one of the directors, International Society of Substance Use Professionals, Pakistan chapter. I'm also serving as Executive Director, New Life Rehab Center, Sialkot. And today we are going to talk on a very important topic, supporting clients through substance use recovery and overview. And for this live session, you can join us from ISSUP Pakistan chapter's Facebook page, Facebook group, YouTube channel, Instagram page, and Twitter handle. You can also join us from Drug Use Youth Forum Pakistan for Drug Use Prevention's Facebook page and YouTube channel. Other than all, you can also join us from Colombo Plan Pakistan's Facebook page. If you have any question and comment regarding the topic, you can also use the chat box, and we will try all our best to answer your questions. As many of you know, that we are conducting this live session from ISA Pakistan chapters platform. And before we start our topic and presentation, I would like to share a brief introduction about ISUP. ISSUP is the International Society of Substance Use Professionals Pakistan chapter. And the ISUP basically is an international membership organization, and there are around 30,000 members in the world. There are around 30,000 members in the world working in substance use prevention, treatment, and recovery support, including Asia, Africa, Europe, Latin America, and Middle East. And there are more than 30 national chapters has been established under the umbrella of ISUP Global, who are promoting ISA Global's mission in their respective countries. And ISA Pakistan is one of those who are promoting, and implementing ISA Global's mission in the country. The main objective of this organization is to connect through networking, knowledge exchange, and training, sharing the very best in evidence based ethical approaches, and promoting quality in all areas of substance use prevention, treatment, and recovery care practice. And for more information and detail, you can also visit ISUP Global's website, which is www.issup.net. And you can, if you are working in substance use prevention, treatment, and recovery care field, you can also apply free membership over there. Website also has a lot of wealth of resources and publication for you to learn. And now we are going to talk about our topic, why we have choose this topic, supporting clients through substance use recovery and overview. Actually, recovery means many things to many people. To some, it means the absence of symptoms of the illness, and to some others, it means managing the symptoms, regarding the control of their lives, and learning new ways to live a fulfilling life. But whichever way one looks at recovery, it is important to note that it embraces all aspects of life, from housing, employment, health, spirituality, social network, community, and family support. Anyone can care for people in recovery, but to effectively support these people requires professionalism, training, and the know how to do it. Recovery is possible, recovery is happening, but we should be optimistic that positive outcome is possible from substance use. And now I'm very excited, and we are going to share a very wonderful information and wonderful presentation, and sharing the evidence-based information with you. And for this purpose, we have been invited a very committed, passionate, and very honorable speaker guest with us from Nigeria. She is today we have our very honorable, as I told you, very honorable speaker guest with us, Ms. Fatima Abiola Papula from Nigeria. She is a deputy commander, drug demand reduction at the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, uh, FCT Command, Abuja, Nigeria. If I'm pronounced little wrong, I'm sorry for that. She is a master trainer by UNODC for drug prevention, treatment, and care. He is a trained counselor by UNODC. He is also a master trainer for Universal Recovery Curriculum by Colombo Plan Drug Advisory Program. He is a master. She is having master degree in guidance and counseling, and she is assistant zonal coordinator for International Society for Substance Use Professional North Central Zone in Nigeria. He also has been published her research is in national and international journals. So I would like to welcome from ISSUP Pakistan chapters Miss Fatma Abiola Papula. Hello, ma'am. Assalamu alaikum, and thank you very much for your precious time to be with us.
Thank you very much, Saima. Hi, everyone. I'm very happy. I'm very privileged to be invited by the ISSUP Pakistan. I want to appreciate you for inviting us today to talk about recovery and how to support people in recovery. Thank you very much, Saima, for this invitation. And I'm so excited about this. I'm very happy to see you all. It's nice meeting most of you again. I've seen a lot of people joining in now, and I've seen your names. You are all welcome.
Yes,
We'll be talking about can
yes,
we share
you
this
can.
slide now?
Yes, you can, please. Thank you very, very much once again, ma'am. That would be a wonderful contribution to learn from you and for our audience as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
For people who joined us can also share your comments, feedback, and if you have any question regarding the topic, you can also use the chat box to send us. And we will request our honorable speaker guest to answer your question. Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am, please continue.
So we'll be starting by way of introduction, and it's very important for us to let's go back. Yes. So, for most of us who are professionals in the field of substance use, we would have come across a lot of people, and we would have had a lot of experiences when it comes to people who have passed through treatment in most of our centers and people who have passed through counseling. We'll find out that the society have a very high expectations when it comes to people who use substances and people who use drugs. The people in the society always want people who have passed through rehabilitation treatment, who have been treated in the hospital, to get cured and to get healed immediately they are being treated. And this, in most cases, is not so. When people pass through rehabilitations, when people pass through treatment, when people who are being treated for substance use problem, it is not automatic for them to get cured immediately. But the society have a high expectation, and they put pressure on these people and expect them to get cured, expect them to stop using drugs. And they think about this, they do this because they think that using substances is a moral failure. So they blame the people who use drugs, they blame them for their substance use, they blame them for not wanting to change or for not wanting to stop the substance. So it is very important for us to have adequate information about how to care for people who use substances or people who are in recovery. It is very critical for us as a society to know that all the members of the society, from the family, from the friends, from the colleagues in the office, from the neighborhood and the community, it is very important for all of us to know that we all are part of the recovery process of the person who is referred to in this presentation as a client. I want to also let us know that for the purpose of this presentation, I'll be referring to people in recovery, people we care for as clients. So this pressure we put into these people is what is some of those things that does not bring about success, in the recovery process. So the period spent in the treatment is also very important. One-time treatment is not enough to cure or to stop drug use. One-time treatment is not enough. Most times, people continue to go for treatments once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, continually before they can become abstinence, or before they can achieve a success outcome. So also the time that is spent in treatment is also very critical. In most cases, when people spend about 3 months, when they spend 6 months, up to 1 year, it is more it brings about more success than when people just go for a 1 week detoxification and go home. In my center, most parents come to my center and said, Fatima, we want this boy or this girl to do detoxification. After 1 week, he comes back home. And I tell them it is not possible. Your son, your daughter have been using substances in the past 5 years, in the past 10 years, and you just want him to come for detoxification for 1 week and go back home, and you think this is treatment. This is not treatment. So the time spent in treatment is also very, very important. So there is the need also during treatment to continuously, or even during the recovery process, to continue to do assessment of the recovery plan. So when the assessment is done continually, then we'll be able to check up what is the client's need, because as whether we like it or not, the need of the client continues to change as time goes on. So there is the need for us to continue to assess this treatment plan or the recovery plan, so that we'll be able to maintain that recovery level or the desired level that is required. When your recovery support is strong, when it is helpful, what does it do? It reduces or make the client to stop substance use. When there is a strong recovery support, it makes the person who is using drug or the person in recovery to reduce his substance use, or also to stop substance use. And it also prevents return to substance use. The rate of relapse becomes reduced because the recovery support is very strong. The rate of crime is also reduced because the person in recovery, the client we're talking about, knows that there are people that will help him. There are people around him that gives him support. If he needs anything, he knows where to get it. He knows whom to contact. Also, the recovery capital will be very, very effective. When we talk about recovery capital, we're talking about the family, we're talking about the friends, we're talking about the society, the community where the person comes from. When the recovery capital is there to support this person, then it becomes more effective and the outcome is very, very good. And also this person have a strong community connection. When people use substance, the whole community is against them. They become an outcast. A lot of people don't like them. But when the person is passing through recovery and there is a strong recovery support, everyone within the recovery community is ready to help this person starts to have a strong community connection. The person starts to come back to the community and have belief that the community is ready to love him and to accept him back. So what is recovery? We've been talking about recovery in the past 2 minutes. What is this recovery? Recovery is much more than abstinence. A lot of people think, oh, when I stop using drug, then I'm in recovery. I've not used drug in the past 1 month. I've not used drug in the past 2 weeks, so I'm in recovery. No, recovery is much more than that. It's much more than abstaining from using drug. In the mental health field, recovery is defined with this acronym, CHIM. And each of these acronym means one, connection, two, hope and optimism about the future, three, identity, four, meaning in life, and five, empowerment. Let's take them one by one. Connectedness. Like I said earlier, when people are using drugs, when they become problematic in the society, in the community, they become an outcast. Nobody wants to associate with them. Nobody wants to relate with them. The family drove them away. The community doesn't want them to associate with other children within their community because they think it's a bad person. But when people are in recovery, they come back home, they start to connect with the community. The community also is ready to accept them. The community now becomes their home that is supposed to be. There is that connection now. That connection that was cut off because of substance use is now back. So the person is back in the society. Hope and optimism about the future. When people are in recovery, they start to look at the future differently. They look at the future with hope. They say, oh, now I think I can do it. I think I can make it. There is something in life to live for. So they have hope. They have a new hope, a renewed hope that after all, something good is still going to happen to me. So they have a new hope about the future and they are optimistic about what will happen to them. They no more have fears of law enforcement officers running after them. They no more have fears of somebody to come and attack them. They no more have fears of people, people who use drugs, sometimes they will be owing because they are buying the drug or the substances on credit. And the people whom they are owing will start to run after them. But now, they don't think about that again because they are optimistic. They are no more afraid. The fear is gone. They start to have new identity about themselves. During the time of substance use, the person does not have an identity again. The person has been relegated to the background. But now that somebody is in recovery, the person is now getting a new identity. The person can stand up for himself, can advocate for himself that my name is Fatima and I don't use drug again. The person can stand up for him or herself in the society. The person starts to create a new identity because he has a good recovery support around him. The person starts to have meaning to life. People who use drug, especially during those dark days when the drug is really hitting hard on them, they say, oh, I think there is no need to live. I think nobody loves me. I think I just have to die. But when people are in recovery, they start to have new meanings to life. After all, there is something to live for. Maybe a girlfriend, maybe a boyfriend, maybe a husband or a wife, maybe an achievement. I need to go back to school. Oh, I have to join politics. I want to be the governor of my state. The person start to see meaning in life. And when we talk about empowerment, when there is a strong recovery support, people in recovery are being empowered. They are being taught skills that will make them to function properly in life. So recovery is, most people think that recovery is not possible. When Saima was doing the introduction, she said recovery is possible. Recovery is happening. And it's true. Most of in the mental health field all over the world, people say, oh, substance use disorder is incurable. Okay, fine. They are right, but a lot of people are getting recovered. A lot of people are recovering from substance use. So substance use is possible. So as recovery is telling us that we must believe that anyone can recover from their substance use, or they can manage their condition successfully. We cannot write off someone and say that it cannot get better. No, these conditions can be managed successfully, and people do recover from substance use. We have a lot of evidences on our hand. So there is a working definition of recovery by SAMHSA, and this is a process of change through which individuals improve their health and wellness, where a human being can live a self-directed life and strive to reach their full potential. That is the definition by SAMHSA. This is a working definition of recovery. And from this definition, really, you will see that recovery is much more than abstaining from substance use. The fact that someone has abstained from substance use for 1 or 2 weeks doesn't mean that the person is in recovery if the person is not improving on their health and wellness, if the person is not living a self-directed life, if the person is not striving to reach their full potential. Everyone have what you have in mind to be in life. You have your dreams and aspiration. When people are in recovery, they start to live their dreams. They want to live a better life. Oh, I think I want to finish my university education. And when people are in recovery, they work towards it, and this is achieved. Recovery is not a linear journey. The recovery is not a linear journey. It's not a journey like, oh, I'm going from here to London, and I went to the airport and I boarded the plane, and the plane landed at the Heathrow, and I'm in London. That's not how recovery works. Recovery is full of ups and down, ups and down. It's never a straight line journey. Why we say this is because when people are in recovery, oh, the person have abstained from substance use, the person have good support socially and emotionally, everybody is ready to help. Oh, I want to go back to school, and the person have started school, and one day the person comes back home and said, I'm sorry, today I saw some people and I used something. You see that this is not a straight journey. It is full of ups and downs. Oh, today I was passing through so and so place, and the police were arresting everyone, and I got arrested. I'm in the police station. Please, somebody come and help me. And you start to ask questions. All this happens when people are in recovery. So, why is it important to talk about recovery? It is important because when people are in recovery, they remain safe. For example, someone is outside there using substances and another person is in recovery. There's a difference between these two people. The person who is in recovery is safe because he has support around him. He has moral support, he has social support, he has emotional support, he has family and friends who are ready to help him. The law is ready to help him. The society is ready to help him, and the community is there to help him. So this person feels safe and the person remains safe. There are people around him to guide him. But the person who is using substance, who is on the street, is running from pillar to post. When the police are coming, is running somewhere to hide. This person is not safe. Recovery is also important because when people are in recovery, they adapt to treatment procedure. The fact that people are in recovery does not mean that they don't use their medication. Medication and treatment still continues while people are in recovery. So when people are in recovery, they are guided to adapt to treatment. Oh, have you used your medication today? Have you gone to see the doctor? You remember you have an appointment next week. The person is being reminded by the support around him. So recovery is important. The family relationship is improved. During those years of substance use, the tie between the family and the person who is using substances is cut. But during recovery, the person is back home, the family relationship is improved. Everyone is starting to show love to this person. So the relationship is improved. The person no longer sees his father and mother or sister as enemies, and they don't longer see him too as a bad person. And most importantly, when there is a recovery ally, we'll talk about recovery ally later on, who provides support, then this journey is very smooth when there is the presence of a recovery ally that provides support. Because the recovery ally is a professional that have been trained in the aspect of supporting people in recovery. The person have more confidence. He can talk for himself. Before now, anybody can push him around when he's using substances. He has no voice of his own. People stigmatize and discriminate him. But now, during recovery, it is important that because the person have confidence now and he has renewed hope. The person trusts people around him. He connects with his community and know where to get help. Remember, there are people around him, so he knows where to get help and identifies with support group. And in those days when when somebody is using substances, any good thing that happens to the person is nothing. But during recovery, the person celebrates little achievements. I had a client that came to visit me last week, and he told me, Miss Fatima, do you know I've not used any substance since the past 1 week? I'm happy about this. And I said, that's very good. In the past, the person does not see this as an achievement because he thinks anyhow he can go back to using substances. So celebrating achievement is part of recovery and it's an important aspect of recovery. So supporting people in recovery. To support people in recovery is anybody's job. The family can support, friends can support, colleagues can support, but it is a professional service. To support people in recovery is a professional service that are being provided by professionals who are trained in this aspect of supporting people in recovery. And we have these recovery support professionals. We have recovery allies, we have peer support professionals, we have recovery coaches, and some others. What do this group of people do? They engage in a wide range of activities. One, they advocate for the people they care for. When you are a recovery ally or a peer support professional or a recovery coach, you advocate. If your client is being arrested by the police, you can go there to support him. This person is my client and is not a thief. He may be using substances, is in recovery, but it's not a thief. You stand up for him. If anyone is bringing him down, looking down on top on him, you stand up for him, you advocate for him. The recovery support professional link the clients to various resources. For example, maybe I'm a recovery person and I used to live on the street, but I have a recovery support professional who care for me. The person can link me up with where I can get accommodation, because when people get accommodation, it's better than sleeping on the street. The recovery support professional can link me up to where I can get medication. It can link me up to where I can get legal services in case I have problems with the law. Recovery support professionals shared experiences with their clients. I've been there before, especially if they are peer support professionals. I've been there before. This is what I did. This is how I did it. And the person is good to go. Also, there are community and relationship building that the recovery support professional provide for the people they care for. Recovery support professional also do skill building. They build skills in the clients and help them to achieve their potentials. Recovery professionals also do mentoring and goal setting. Set a goal. What do you want to achieve in the next 3 months? Let's talk about it. And at the end of the next 3 months, they look at about this goal that has been set together and see whether it has been achieved. And if it is not yet achieved, why? What is the problem? They go back to the drawing board and check back again, and they start again. Remember, I said recovery is a long journey and it's not a straightforward journey. So, one, recovery allies. Who are recovery allies? Recovery allies are trained professionals. Like I mentioned, they offer support to their clients. This position can be paid for and the person can be a volunteer. I am a law enforcement officer and I'm a recovery ally. I am a volunteer recovery ally. I don't collect money for my services. But there are recovery allies who may want to be paid for their services. So it can be two ways. Recovery allies are committed to their clients. They give empowerment, skill building to the client, and they make referrals. The recovery ally is not a clinician. So if the client exhibits any need for any of these services, the recovery ally make referral. Oh, you need counseling, he refers him to a counselor. Oh, you need the service of a lawyer, he refers the client to a lawyer. The recovery ally does not need to have experience of drug use, and it's not a clinical position. The person is not a doctor, is not a counselor, and it doesn't have to be in the mental health field. As long as you are trained in this aspect of recovery ally, you can work as a recovery ally. Peer support professionals. These are trained also as peer support professionals. They require training to do this job. They have experience in addiction and recovery. Peer support professionals are people who have used drug in the past, and they are ready to help other people to pass through recovery like them. So that's why we say they have experiences in addiction, because they have used substances in the past and they are in recovery. It is a non-clinical position, but they encourage and give hope. Training is required also to be a peer support professional, and it's not a paid service. The peer support professional also introduce their peer to the 12-step program. So the 12-step program is part of the function of the peer support professionals. You can see in the diagram, he said, I've been there, I've lived it, and this helped me. These are the kind of things that the peers teach to the people who are new in recovery, who are just coming in. They tell them, oh, when I was there, this is what I used to do. I know what you are feeling. I've been there before. But these are the things I did that helped me. Recovery coaches. They instruct the client. Remember, coach. From the word coach, you will know that the recovery coach is an instructor. It's a coach. It's a teacher. So he instructs the client on how to live a healthy lifestyle. The recovery coach teach coping skills. They help to achieve abstinence. They help the client, guide them to achieve abstinence, and they focus on facilitating self-understanding and how the person functions and performs very well in their daily life. They help people to reconnect with their inner capacity and encourage resilience, like you can do it. They push the person, you can do it. Take another step further. Take another step further. We know you can do it, you can make it. And this service can be paid for also, like the recovery ally, and the person could be a volunteer. The recovery coach teaches, mentors, coaches. This is also not a clinical position. None of these are clinicians. So when caring for people in recovery, whether as a recovery ally, maybe as a peer support professional, or even as a recovery coach, there are things that you should not do. These are the things that we should avoid doing. A recovery support professional, maybe an ally, a coach, or a peer support professional is not a counselor. If your clients need counseling, you refer the person to a counselor. As a recovery ally, you are not a social worker. You are not a case worker. You are not a psychologist. You are not a marriage counselor. You are not a doctor or a judge. You are not a lawyer, a financial advisor. You are not a pastor. You are not an imam or a spiritual advisor. You are not a roommate or the best friend of the person. Peradventure, these clients you care for, that you support and guide, needs any of these services, you make referral. You refer the person to all these services that will help the person. Remember, we say none of this position is a clinical position. When caring for people who use substance, language matters. In fact, in all our daily lives, language matters. When supporting people in recovery, it is important to do what? To address people as people, not as their sicknesses. For example, somebody is going and say, oh, don't you know that guy with the one leg? That is unfair to the person. Or you say, oh, that madman. That is unfair to the person. You address people because they are human beings, not because they are sick or by their sicknesses. So when you address people by their sicknesses, what is happening? You are stigmatizing them. And I brought out some stigmatizing languages here. If you are going to introduce your client, maybe you are a recovery ally, you want to introduce me, maybe I use substance and I'm going out, or you are introducing me to a counselor. You now said, this is Fatima, she's suffering from substance use disorder. Or no, she's suffering from addiction. That is stigmatizing. Instead of you to say that I'm suffering from or I'm a victim of rape, you can say Fatima is a person diagnosed with substance use disorder, but she has been in abstinence in the past 1 month. She's in recovery. I am her recovery ally and I'm supporting her. That means you are introducing me now to a counselor. So by the time you introduce me that way, I feel relaxed that you are not stigmatizing me. But if you say, this is Fatima, she's struggling with addiction, she's even a victim of rape, I can run out of that place and said, oh my God. But if I'm properly addressed and properly introduced in a language that is humane, then I'll be ready. I know, oh, these people are ready to help me. You don't call your client a consumer or a client when you are introducing them to other services. In most cases, it is very important for us as recovery support professionals or people who are supporting people in recovery to ask the client, Fatima, what do you want me to address you as? I say, please address me as Fatima. I say, okay, so this is Fatima. She's my client. Or this is Fatima. I care for her. You understand? That is better. Don't use specialist or clinical languages when discussing with people in recovery because they may not understand all this. Because I may be a medical doctor and I'm a recovery ally. So because I'm a medical doctor and I'm talking to the person in recovery, I start to use those big grammar, those clinical languages, those medical languages which the person does not understand. Instead, let us use languages that are in plain English. And we should also ask the person, do you understand, Fatima, what I'm telling you? Yes, I do understand. Instead of saying, Sam has challenging behaviors, you can say Sam is trying hard to self-advocate and get his need met. Because when you say, Fatima has challenging behavior, that means you are stigmatizing me. But I may be self-advocating, I may be standing up for myself because I want my needs to get met. Instead of saying Muri is dangerous, is abusive, and is angry, you can say Muri tends to describe the action when he's upset. Assuming your client have a problem and you went to the police station to bail him out, and you are telling another person, you say, oh, Fatima is very dangerous. She's very abusive and angry. When I was there, I was disappointed about her behavior. You don't say that to the people you care for. You can say, oh, Fatima is trying to describe the action when she was upset. This brings down the tension. So instead of saying Abdul is paranoid, or you say Fatima is paranoid, no. You can say Fatima is experiencing fear and confusion. Instead of saying Nuri has a chronic mental illness. You know, when people have mental illnesses, they don't want to be addressed as people who have mental illness. So you can say, oh, Nuri has been working on his recovery for a long time. Instead of saying Sharon rejects help, because in most cases, people can reject help. Say, I don't want you to help me. I don't even want you again. If you want to describe that action, don't say that Fatima has rejected help, so I am not interested in her. She rejected my help. No. Say Fatima has not accessed support. She has not yet accessed my support. but I think she will come up later. So these are the languages, of recovery that we should be using when we are caring for people in recovery. So, like every other profession, every other activities and services, recovery has its own challenges. And one of the challenges, I'm going to look at it from the professional angle and from the individual angle. From the professional angle, wearing two caps. For example, I'm a medical doctor and I'm a recovery ally. And my client needs the service. My client is sick, is down. As a medical doctor, I should not take care of that client. I should refer him to a doctor because as at that moment, I am his recovery ally. I am his peer support professional. I am his coach. Even if I'm a medical doctor, I should refer him to another medical doctor. So, but in most cases, people who are professionals in recovery, they tend to forget that they cannot wear two caps and they start to diagnose the sickness. So diagnosing the sickness is not right. It's a serious challenge. Not practicing detachment. When we mean detachment, when people tell you their problem and you are into the problem, because you are you are trying to empathize, because you are being supportive, you put yourself into the problem such that you forget yourself and you get carried away and get overwhelmed by the problem. That is not practicing detachment. And this is a challenge to most professionals, especially the ones in recovery. We get carried away, we put ourselves into the problem of the client, and we become overwhelmed such that we become sick. And when you become sick, how do you care for the person in recovery? Not setting healthy boundaries. As professionals, most of us know what is healthy boundaries. So sometimes the professionals in recovery have forgotten that they are supposed to set healthy boundaries. You'll be sleeping in your home by 2 a.m. and someone is calling you for help. And you wake up and start to wear your trouser and your shirt and your skirt and running out by 2 a.m. This is not done. That is what we call partnership agreements between the person you care for and the recovery support professional, especially the recovery ally. This partnership should be spelled out in very clear languages that both of you understand. But when the language is ambiguous, it brings about problem during the relationship and during the recovery process. Not practicing self-care. Sometimes we work and work and work and overwork, and we forget that we are human beings too. We need to rest because we want to care. As a recovery support professional, you can have more than 6 clients, and you want to attend to each of the needs of these clients. During the time you are attending to these needs, you find out that you are falling sick and you are feeling down. So this is another challenge. Unprofessionalism. We all know what unprofessionalism, those acts that are not professional, like having dual relationship, having counter transference, and all that. But sometimes people don't know. They get carried away and they start to exhibit all these traits. This is a big challenge when it comes to recovery. On the part of the person in recovery, there are challenges of not assessing social and emotional support because sometimes people in recovery still don't trust people. And when they have problem, they still hold on to themselves. They don't want to say everything that is inside them. It's a great challenge. And when you are caring for people in recovery or you have a client you are caring for, you find out that you are still not connecting with the person and you start to wonder, what is the problem? Sometimes the person is holding back because he still doesn't trust you. So it is you, it's your function as a recovery support professional to let the person know that you are here to help. Inadequate nutrition and outdoor activities. A lot of these people who are just in recovery, who are passing through recovery, do not have work to do not have employment, they don't even have where to feed. So this is a great challenge. Sometimes they hide from people. They still hide, thinking that people they will be arrested, thinking that people will look down on them, and they don't engage in outdoor activities. Sometimes they don't adapt to treatment or the recovery plan. Somebody is supposed to go to hospital maybe twice in a week, and one day you ask the person, why are you not in the hospital? He said, I'm tired, I don't want to use those medication again. It is our duty as professionals to support the person, to let him know how important it is for him to adapt to those treatments and even the recovery plan. Sometimes return to substance use is always there. Remember, we said that recovery is a long journey. It's not a linear journey also. So at a point in life, they can return to substance use. And this is a challenge. Instead of us to bring them close to us, support them, some of us, we said, why did you do that? You again? Why should you go back? And we start to challenge them. Return to substance use or relapse is part of recovery. It's not a failure. The clients also sometimes, their belief about substances that they use is a challenge. Some of them think that this substance helps them to function properly. So if they experience any discomfort, it is possible for them to run back to the old substances that they are using. When I used to use those substances, if I feel like this, I used to use the substance. So the belief about how the substance was working for them before is still a challenge. And also reassociating with old friends who use drug is a problem. Sometimes these friends are always there. They're always around in the community to welcome them back. So these are the work that we as professionals should look at and make sure that they don't go back. So what is the way forward? How do we support people in recovery and support them the way to achieve a success in recovery? Take a training in recovery support as a recovery support professional. I'm advertising this. We should take a training as a recovery support professional. It's very wonderful, very interesting. You may also wish to become a recovery ally. After this training, I wish to see a lot of people indicating interest to be a recovery support professional, maybe as a recovery ally, maybe as a peer support professional, especially if the person have had experiences of substance use in the past. The person can be a peer support professional. To care for people in recovery needs commitment and patience. We have to be patient, we have to be committed, because they will always, exhibit some of those traits that they used to exhibit in the past. Be aware of the presence of trauma. It is important for us to know that trauma plays a lot of role in substance use. And when people exhibit certain behavior, it may not be because they want to do that. It may be as a result of the trauma or experiences they have had in the past. It is important for a recovery ally to know about trauma, because there is a higher risk of later substance use, and substance use predisposes people to rates of trauma. I got this from the Recovery Ally book. So to become a recovery ally is one of the courses in the Universal Recovery Curriculum. And it is designed to be a standalone course so that anyone can do it. It doesn't matter what profession you are. You don't need any prerequisite to take the Allies course. So please do this today. There are other documents that we can access that can tell us about recovery. We have the SAMHSA's recovery book. We have the peer addiction recovery book, and we have the recovery coach manual. So these are some of the books that we can access. So to wrap this up, as a person caring for and providing support for people in recovery, it is important to know our environment and also to know available services that could help the people that we are helping. it is important also to keep directory of all necessary services so that we can always make referral when our clients needs our help. We should also be careful not to overstep or force the person to accept our views. Remember, there is no coercion. Remember, there is no hierarchy in the work of the professional, recovery support professional, and the person you care for. You are both on the same level. Always remember that your job as a person supporting the client is to provide necessary support, to make the person trust you, and that you are there to assist them always. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, ma'am Fatima Kapula from Nigeria. Thank you very much for sharing all evidence-based information, knowledge, and your experience through a wonderful presentation with all of us. I trust we have learned about this unique topic. You know, most of our people having topic on substance use treatment and prevention, but recovery sometimes we are missing. But this time we have, it's a blessing for us to be to have you with us and sharing the very wonderful presentation with us. I would also very much thankful. Sorry. Once again, I would like to introduce our audience that today we have with us a very honorable, committed, and passionate personality with us from Nigeria. She is Ma'am Fatima Abila Popola from Nigeria. She is a Deputy Commander Drug Demand Reduction at the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, FCT Command, Abuja, Nigeria. She is a Master Trainer by UNODC for Drug Prevention Treatment Care. She is also trained Addiction Counselor by UNODC. She is Master Trainer for Universal Recovery Curriculum by Colombo Plan Drug Advisory Program. She's also having a master degree in guidance and counseling, and she's also an assistant zonal coordinator for International Society of Substance Use Professionals North Central Zone in Nigeria. She's also has been published her researches in national and international journals, and we are very much blessed to have you with us. Thank you very much, ma'am, once again. I would also like to thankful all our audience who had very active participation today, and we also really appreciate and thankful for your kind comments, feedback, and your wonderful appreciation for our guest speaker and for ISSUP Pakistan as well. Thank you very much. We have a very limited time, but can we take some question, ma'am?
Yes.
Ma'am, with your permission, can we take one or two questions from the audience?
Yes.
They have been this. First of all,
Yes,
I would like
please.
to yes, people really appreciate to know about recovery ally, the role of recovery ally, because sometimes if we're talking about the recovery coach and recovery ally means there must be a psychologist and doctors, but today we had a unique information uh, got from yourself and through your presentation that everyone can be a recovery ally to keep to support people who are suffering or in recovery with substance use disorder. So some I would like to have one two question. I just took screenshot because sometimes we have receiving a lot of comments, so that's why. The first question we received that can you please explain rewards of recovery for sustainability so the new identity remain the same?
Can you come again, please?
Yes. Uh, if you could please explain rewards of recovery for sustainability so the new identity remain the same.
Okay.
Or
Can
we
I go
can
on?
modify this. Sure.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, can we modify this question? This is like what types of rewards do we need to give during the treatment and recovery for our patients?
Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay. You see, when people are in recovery, like I said earlier, they still need to contact the doctor. They still need to access counseling sometimes. They can even need spiritual counseling. They can see their psychiatrist. So in most cases, you as a recovery ally, you don't wear two caps. When your client needs these services, you make referral to these services. It depends on the service that the recovery person needs as at that particular time. You understand what I'm saying? So when the person needs a service of a counselor,
Yes.
you make referral to the person, to the counselor. When the person needs a service of a psychiatrist, you refer the person to a psychiatrist. So you don't wear two caps as a recovery ally. Even if you are a psychiatrist, you cannot treat the person as at that time. You refer the person to another psychiatrist or another counselor.
Sorry for the inconvenience, dear audience. We may have some network problem. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you to explain our question. We are just quickly take one more question, and the rest you can. We request you to answer in the comment box whenever you have time to serve. As we can also feel that you have very busy person in Nigeria and very familiar as well all across the world. But we will request you to answer some of our questions if. We received in the comment box. But quickly, one more question. It's also very important that the question we received from Mr. Yakub, he's asking that a recovering addict can't become recovery ally or can become a recovery ally. Yes, a recovering addict can
Yes,
become a recovery ally. Yes,
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 a person who abused drug in the past, I don't want to call the person an addict. You understand? Calling the person an addict is a stigmatizing language. So the person who have used drug in the past, who is a recovering person, can also be a peer support professional, but not a recovery ally. Remember, I said for people who are peer professional, peer support professional, they are those people who already have experiences of substance use in the past. So somebody who have used substance in the past can be a peer support professional, and it will be able to assist people who are new in recovery and who are passing through recovery also. So instead of being a recovery ally, the person is a peer support professional because he has experience of substance use. But a recovery ally does not have an experience of substance use. And a recovery coach also may not have experience of substance use. But a peer support professional have an experience of substance use in the past, and they can be a peer support professional.
thank you very much. Very well explained, ma'am. Thank you very much. I'm also excited to share when you were sharing the presentation. I would also like to share with our audience that Ma'am Fatima is one of our trainer, and we met in Abu Dhabi during the ISSUP conference, and she trained us about the curriculum recovery ally, and I was yeah, and till then I always found her very kind, cooperative, and supportive all the time. Whenever I request her to conduct live session, because in Pakistan we are also conducting a lot of trainings about prevention and treatment, but sometimes we are missing this part of recovery. So I found the opportunity to meet you in Abu Dhabi, and finally we all blessed to have a wonderful presentation with you regarding the very unique topic, like to how to support our people in recovery, because it's a very unique topic, and where all the comment box is full from for the appreciation to learn about your presentation, and also we also receiving appreciation that we choose this topic to talk about this. So thank you very much. We also join people uh, with us from Nigeria. Many people also joined us from Nigeria. So on behalf of ISSUP Pakistan chapter, I would like to all of you the second life And we have audience from Second Life. I think there is the name of organization. He's actively participating in this live session. He is and sending a lot of comments to us. Thank you. Really valued your comment for us. Thank you very much. Thank you, ma'am. And now we are going to close our session because we
Thank
have a
you.
limited time. It's we are very excited to learn more and more, but we have to manage time. So that's why, on behalf of ISSUP Pakistan chapter and entire team of ISSUP Pakistan chapter from Pakistan, we are very much thankful for your precious time. As I told earlier to our audience, that you have a very busy schedule in your country, as well as you are very
Thank you.
familiar all
Thank you
across the
very
world.
much.
Much for your time and sharing a wonderful presentation with us. We will request you to again in future to share knowledge and presentation with us in with a different topic. So thanks once again. Thank you all our audience. Thank you very much. We'll see you in next session with different topic. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care.